Hello everyone. I'm eager to start some more work in my yard today. Before we go out there and get started, let's do a word puzzle. Let's see if we can guess this word before all the letters are in. I'll see a plant, like the ones in the garden. F for flower. There's another O for octopus. What word is going to have an F and an O in the middle of it? It's a word that starts with a B for banana. An R for the color red, or is it C for crayon? What do you think? I'm guessing R. We have an E for elephant and another E for egg. Before we go outside and work on the garden, let's have a look at a book that tells us about where we get our food. All of our food comes from plants or animals that eat plants, almost all of it. This book describes how that happens. The book is called Grow, Raise, Catch: How We Get Our Food by Shelley Rotner. This book is very long, so I'll just talk a little bit and show you some of the pictures. I encourage you to go find this book. It has a lot of information in it. The book begins by explaining that a long time ago, we did not get our food from stores. We had to get it from the land or from the animals that lived with us. Milk came directly from the cows to the table. Food was grown in gardens or on farms. Fish was caught and brought to the table. And if you wanted to save some food for later, you had to can it or preserve it in jars. Today, we're able to go to stores, farmers markets, and produce stands to get our food so that we don't have to grow it ourselves. Plants need lots of things to grow. They have to have sun, they have to have nutritious soil, fresh air, clean water in order to make healthy food, like this lettuce growing here. It takes a lot of people working together to grow and catch all of our food. Vegetable farmers help us have tasty salad and other delicious vegetables like tomatoes and peppers and carrots and cucumbers. Fruit farmers grow all of the berries and fruit that we eat. All that different food that farmers grow gets made into different foods for us to eat, and it's shipped to the stores where we buy it. Grains like wheat and rice are made into the foods that we eat as well. Most of our food is made at big farms with lots of equipment. Lots of different food comes from animals, or milk, which comes from cows, or beef, which also comes from cows. Chickens lay our eggs, and we get pork from pigs. Fishermen catch things like big ocean fish and shellfish that we can eat. Some families run small farms at their house where they can make a little money from the things they grow. People who live in a city sometimes grow food in gardens that are community gardens where they all work together, or maybe they make a garden on the rooftop of a tall skyscraper, or even grow their food in little pots. It takes a lot of plants to make the foods we're used to eating, and a lot of people to grow that food. Come outside with me and let's work on the yard for a while. All right, the first thing I gotta do is get tools out of the shed. Bucket to hold my tools, gardening gloves, a cultivator, A shovel. A trowel. Pair of clippers. All right. I think that's everything I need. Let's get started. The first thing I need to do is put my gloves on. If you don't protect your hands when you're gardening, you can get all torn up. Especially if I find one of those blackberry vines hiding in the weeds, and I'm betting you I will. All set. I notice I've got this weed tangled on everything. This is morning glory. Now, a weed is a plant that is not letting the plants that you want to grow there grow. So weeds, and if you want the plants that you want to grow to be healthy, you need to keep the weeds from strangling them out. There's lots of morning glory in my yard, so I'm pretty sure it will still have a chance to grow somewhere else if I take it out of here. Now, some weeds you can get out by grabbing them at the bottom like this. Grabbing them at the bottom like this and pulling up gets the weeds out with the root. You see the roots on the bottom? You got to get those roots out or they'll just grow back. This weed is some more dandelion, so if I save them and soak them with a little bit of salt and then cook them up, I can actually eat these. And these roots are supposed to be good for a tea if you clean them and dry them. This is the dirt or soil. All the plants need to have their roots in the soil in order to grow. Soil has a lot of vitamins and nutrients and also holds the water that the plants get to have. They draw in the water and the nutrients through the roots, and then it goes up into the rest of the plant. The soil is very important. If your soil doesn't have the right stuff in it, your plants won't grow right. So the first thing you have to do when you garden is take care of your soil. This cultivator helps me to break up the soil so that it's nice and loose. This lets the roots grow more easily, helps them get all the nutrients they need more easily, and helps me get all the roots and stuff out of there that doesn't belong. There. Makes the soil nice and loose. Then my rosemary and my thyme here will grow very well. You know what else likes nice, rich soil? Weeds. What else I found? This is a garlic plant, but it's being strangled by these other plants. I'd better rescue it. I have to be careful not to pull out any part of the garlic chives that I'm trying to rescue. And there's more of these long roots and vines. Remember in yesterday's story we talked about plants that are vines? Morning glory is a vine. It's very long. There we go. There's a dandelion trying to grow right next to it. Pull that out. And some extra mint. Oh wow, that doesn't want to come out. This one's hard to pull out. Oh, you can see why. These are brown and brittle because they've died. I've got some dead branches in here. I want to pull some of the extra dead stuff out too. Now you can see I've made some space for them to grow. Sometimes the soil is too hard for the cultivator to break up. That's when you have to use one of these. There we go. Good healthy soil for our plants to grow in. It's a good thing I'm wearing gloves because sure enough, we got some blackberry bushes trying to grow in here. These are very sharp and thorny, so the gloves protect me. You see that? Can you see the thorns? They're pretty small, but they're sharp. The dirt in my planter boxes is different than the dirt in the rest of my yard because I've added planting soil and other things to it to help my plants grow better. Let's take a look at the soil that's over here. Under the trees, you can see there's a lot of dead needles from the trees above. When we dig in, you can see that this soil is also very dark and very wet. It's a different color, isn't it? It looks different than the soil in the planter box. It's also harder and packed together. These are pine cones off of the tree. They're what the tree makes its seeds inside of. There's one that's not so dirty. Enough space and enough soil are just some of the things plants need to grow. What else do they need that we read in our book? They need plenty of sun. They need air. What else? They need water. And sometimes they need a couple of helping hands. Well, I think I'm going to take a little break. Our compost bin is all full, which is where I would need to put all these weeds. So for now, I'll just make a neat pile. And in a couple days, when the compost bin is empty, I'll put it in there. You know what compost means? Compost means that these things get rotten and decay, and eventually they turn into dirt like this, which we can use to grow plants. This is better than putting it in the landfill where it just makes a mess. I'm going to put my tools away in the bucket. Putting tools in the shed keeps them from getting all rusty. Well, I still have a lot of work to do, but my herbs are looking a little happier. Let's go inside. I still have a lot left to do on that yard, but at least now some of my plants have space to grow in the soil, so they have enough soil, water, air, sun that they need to grow big. I've got another book here I'd like to show you. This one is by Lois Ehlert. It's called Eating the Alphabet. Reading this book always makes me hungry because of all the colorful pictures of foods that we grow in the garden. And it's by alphabet. A, apricot, artichoke, avocado, apple, asparagus. Have you tried all of these foods? What foods are in this book that you haven't tried before? You should pick one to try this week. Blueberry, Brussels sprout, bean, beet, broccoli, banana, currant, corn, celery, cucumber, cabbage, cherries, carrots, cauliflower, date, endive, eggplant, figs. Have you ever had figs? They are so tasty. Gooseberries, grapefruit, grapes, huckleberry, Indian corn, jalapeno, jicama, kumquat, kiwi fruit, kohlrabi, leeks, lemons, lettuce, lime, melon, nectarine, mango, okra, onion, oranges. Did you see there's two kinds of onions here? These are called scallions or green onions, and then these are red onions and yellow onions. There are lots of different kinds of onion. Pineapple, peach, pear, papaya, plum, pomegranate, persimmon. Those are my favorite. Parsnips, potato, pea, peppers, pumpkin, quince, raspberry, radish, rutabaga, rhubarb, and radicchio. Rhubarb makes a very delicious pie. Swiss chard, spinach, star fruit, tangerine, strawberry, turnip, tomato. We're almost to the end of the alphabet. Ugly fruit. Did you know there's a fruit called ugly fruit? Vegetable marrow. Watermelon, watercress, sigua. It looks like watermelon, doesn't it? Yam and zucchini. Maybe you too can eat your way through the alphabet and discover a fruit or vegetable you haven't made friends with yet. I'll see you next time for more garden adventures.